Greetings, church. It is the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. It's almost Christmas. I've been thinking about the services that I used to lead as a local pastor, and remembering in particular the service that we held every year that we called Blue Christmas. This was a service that acknowledged that Christmas time is not always a season of joy. Sometimes people are living lives of pain or depression, or sometimes a Christmas comes and it's the first Christmas after the loss of a loved one. And so we had Blue Christmas, where people gathered together to experience together the love of God, but also to acknowledge their sense of sadness. Usually it was a service that only a few people gathered for, but it was a tender time for those of us who gathered in heart and soul. Today in Indianapolis, I went to the Episcopal Cathedral for another one of those unusual Christmas services. This was the service of memorial for homeless who have died in Indianapolis over the last year. Unlike the Blue Christmas that I used to have in Bartlesville, this service was full to the rafters. I arrived at the last minute and was lucky to find a seat as people from all across the city gathered to remember those, some of them nameless to us, who had died this past year. It also was a tender service of candlelight, the girls' choir singing, and of testimonies. Two men gave their testimonies, men who had spent years in homelessness, who in the last year or two have found a way back, who had reached out and found someone there at just the right moment, who was able to give them a hand, help them find a community of love and hope. These two men told their stories in this cathedral to great applause, to many smiles, as we learned from these two people, one who never gave up hope after years on the streets, one who only hoped for death at one point, both of whom have found life and hope and community and possibility again. As I look out on the cold and snowy landscape of Indianapolis today, I think if I were on the street, I would be hopeless. But when I heard the stories of these two men, when I looked around me at the people gathered in this sanctuary, I realized that there is always hope. That the Christ who came to us as a tiny baby, so very vulnerable, comes to us renewing our hearts and our hope in whatever season of the year. I looked at the people gathered around me in this church and knew that their hearts were full of hope and possibility. Their intent was to reach out to others who are on the streets this day. We who are followers of Christ always have that potential to reach out beyond ourselves, to reach out to others, to be the hand of hope and the voice of hope for others. What a Christmas gift that was to me. I hope this story will be the same for you. God bless you. May you go forth as a sign of hope. In Jesus' name, may it be so.